Ashley Dan, ACPS Instructional Specialist. This video is going to look closely at the gradual release model of instruction. The gradual release model is a style of teaching which involves a transfer of responsibility in the learning process from the teacher to the student. The model, written about extensively by Nancy Fry and Douglas Fisher, has 4 distinct phases. I do, a focus lesson where the teacher models, uses metacognitive practices, and students actively listen. We do, guided instruction, where the teacher works with students, scaffolding instruction, giving and receiving feedback based on formative assessment. You do together, collaborative learning, where the students work together in small groups or partnerships. And you do alone, where students work independently. During this first grade math lesson, ACPS teacher Todd Kilmer completes all 4 phases of the gradual release model. As we watch phase 1, the I do, pay close attention to how Mr. Kilmer models the specific strategy and uses metacognition to demonstrate the necessary thinking processes needed to accomplish his lesson's objective.
So let's look, friends. This ice cream cone costs 76 cents. We need to make that amount 2 different ways. So I see 76 cents. That's how much this costs. I'm going to think, how can I make 76 cents? I'm looking at all of the coins that I have that I can choose from. I know if I want to get up there really quickly, I could use a coin that's worth a lot. So I'm going to use the quarters. So watch me do it, and I want you to be thinking if I'm doing it the right way. So I'm going to count, and I'm going to say 25, 50, 75, and I know if I do another one, I'll be at $1. That's too much. It's too big. So I'm going to go back. So I have 25, 50, 75, stop. I need to get up to 76. So I'm going to think, if I do a dime, I'll be at 85. Too big. If I do a nickel, I'll be at 80. Too big. If I do a penny, 1 after 75 is 76. So I made 76 cents.
Notice how in the I do, the lesson was teacher-focused. Mr. Kilmer had 100% of the responsibility at this point in the learning process. While the student's role was to actively listen, Mr. Kilmer's role was to provide an explicit and engaging focus lesson. During the focus lesson, Mr. Kilmer modeled the skills needed to accomplish the lesson objective, including the thinking processes. This explicit instruction, teacher-focused lesson, is the key to the I do portion of the gradual release model. Next, let's watch the we do portion of the lesson. Pay close attention to the instructional scaffolding, vocabulary instruction, and specific feedback Mr. Kilmer gives during this guided practice.
We just had some time to talk, so I'm thinking, I need to get up to 12 cents. I'm thinking, could I do it with quarters?
No.
No, I probably couldn't. Why couldn't I use quarters, Amelia?
Because it's too much.
It's too much. This is 25. 25 is bigger than 12. What's a way I could get up to 12 cents? Aiden, what's one way I could get there?
A dime and 2 pennies.
A dime and 2 pennies? Let's try it. So I have a dime. That gives me how many, everyone?
10.
Now the 2 pennies will give me 11, 12. Let's check on our hundreds chart to see if he's right. So we have, and here we're going to go to this one actually. We have our dime that puts us at 10, and then the pennies take us to 11, 12. We reached 12 cents. How awesome. But we need to figure out how to do it another way. Last week, we learned a new math word that we can use. We can use the word exchange.
Exchange.
And we can exchange coins that are worth the same amount. So we learned that word exchange before. I'm going to teach you a new word today that's going to help us a little bit. We're going to be finding coins that are equivalent.
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 Everyone show me equivalent.
Equal.
Equivalent is a big word, Sammy. That means what?
Equal.
Equal. You got it. So these are coins that are worth the same amount. So I'm thinking, I had a dime. What's another way I could make 10 cents that my dime's worth? How could I make coins that are equivalent to that? I'm thinking. I can use more than one. Julian, what do you think?
2 nickels.
2 nickels. Let's count.
5.
5. 10. That also gives me 10 cents. Is there another way? I see Sammy's figured it out. He knows there's another way. Sammy, is there another way I could make 10 cents? How?
10 pennies.
10 pennies, let's do it.
1,
2.
Notice how in the We Do, Mr. Kilmer released some of the responsibility of the learning as both teacher and students are active participants. The teacher role during this phase is to ask questions and elicit answers, as well as provide support for the lesson's academic vocabulary. The student role in this phase is to actively participate. Now let's watch the next phase of the gradual release model, the collaborative learning portion, the You Do together.
We are going to be trying to pay for different objects 2 different ways. I have on your desks different objects that have different price tags. This Sharpie marker costs how much money, Amelia?
76.
76 cents. You also have a bag of money. I want to see if you can make 76 cents 2 different ways. You might have to do some exchanges so you can do it.
Okay, so I'm gonna be trying to make it. Okay. We need pencils.
So Aiden, I need
Oh yeah, let's get pencils
you are going to be working with them.
Okay. So this costs 29 cents. Okay, we're gonna try and use a dime. So 10, 20, cool. 10, 20, stop. And then we need 9 pennies. Well, 10, 20. I know it. It's 2 dimes and 9 pennies. Okay.
Notice how in the You Do together the focus is on the students. The partners work collaboratively to solve an authentic and engaging math problem. During this portion of the gradual release model, Mr. Kilmer's role is to facilitate the learning of the partners and to work with those students who need extra support or additional challenge. Next, let's watch the final phase of the gradual release model, the independent You Do alone.
I want to see what you can now do by yourself. Nora, I need you to have a seat. If there's not a pencil there, you know what to do. Thank you.
Notice how during the You Do alone, the room is fairly quiet. The responsibility in the learning process has been transferred over 100% to the students. They are now able to complete the objective independently without guidance from the teacher or each other. During this phase, Mr. Kilmer continues to facilitate and provide feedback, but the learning has been completely released to the students. The gradual release model is a best practice instructional model that strategically guides students to independence. When all 4 phases are present, the gradual release model is a highly effective tool for instruction across grade levels and content areas. For more information on the gradual release model, check out the additional resources on the ACPS Professional Learning website.